What is up? Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day. Back with some more Final Fantasy 16 gameplay for you. And today, guys, I am going to be doing my next episode in why no one takes gaming journalists serious. And let me tell you something. I could have made 5 videos about all this because, my goodness, they came out of the woodworks for this game. I've been having a blast playing Final Fantasy 16, been playing the last 2 days, and I'd like to continue playing some more, but unfortunately I did have to stop and make something on this, because, man, it's like they were waiting for this game, and they had a hard on for this game, and I don't know what makes this game so uniquely different that I have to read bad take after bad take after bad take after bad take. I mean, it was ridiculous, and so I was just thinking, like, how can I kind of tie this all into, you know, maybe one video, and I'm going to try to do that here. But and here's the crazy part about all this. You know, I've heard, you know, if you don't know what's going on with the game, obviously a lot of people have been questioning, is Final Fantasy 16 a Final Fantasy game? Yes, it is. You know, does it have too many cutscenes? Of course it has cutscenes. I mean, it's a JRPG. Like, what do you think? That's par for the course. It's like saying a shooter game does have shooting, or enough, or too much shooting in this case. But then you get to just some takes that are just really just dumb and stupid. And it's somebody who just gets upset and butthurt that their personal beliefs aren't basically put in every single game. And the crazy part about all these articles, which I'll leave a link in the description down below, they're all written by the same person. I'll even reference one that this person wrote a while back too. But yeah, they're all written by the same person. This person just had a Woody for this game. And I'm just sitting there thinking, like, you know, like yeah, you really were waiting for this unload on this game, and they act like, and once again, you know, color me surprised if you heard this before. They act like they're some big fan, but they're not a fan. They want all their personal beliefs in every single game release because it's going to be scary and detrimental. So, without further ado, let's jump right into this. The first article I'm going to be referencing is "We Need to Talk About Slavery in Final Fantasy 16." You already know this is going to go over well. I mean, you just already know. So basically, their whole thing is, you know, because we have this in a game and we're like trying to show it off in a game, you know, we can't help but connect them with our real world parallels if we continue to reconcile with our own history. Well, I got news for you. The average person doesn't give 2 craps about any of that. Do you want to know why? Because the average person is just trying to play and enjoy a video game. I don't think people playing a Final Fantasy 16 game, of all things, are sitting there thinking, man, it's got slavery in it. I want to see how this compares to real life slavery. No, they just want to play and enjoy a game. It's a means to an end for the game and its story. You know, I remember a couple of years ago, they had a JRPG that had slavery highly into their game. I think it was Tales of Arise that came out a couple of years ago. It was with the 2 races, the Renans and the Danans. I didn't hear people losing their crap over, or maybe I just didn't see the article. Probably didn't care to write anything about that because, you know, it was a big mainstream title, even though it was a fun and great, excellent game in the franchise. But nonetheless, I continue on. But yeah, they're basically saying that, you know, we got to compare that because, you know, you can't just enjoy a game for what it is. You got to bring everything in the real world because, you know, who cares about escaping from reality just to have escapism. But then I'm going to quote you, and you're going to get to the heart of how stupid this is. This is the whole plethora of this article. So this is what they wrote. Final Fantasy 16 made headlines ahead of its release for how white it is. The majority of its cast are attractive white men and women with regional British accents. Clive, Jill, and Sid are all seemingly designed to pass as both white and Asian, but all of them are drawn to storylines concerning slavery that continually fail to consider the color of their skin. Producer Naoki Yoshida, apologize if I pronounced that wrong, said that in the game aims to be a fairly accurate rendition of classic Western fantasy, which in literature, like The Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones, is whiter than vanilla ice cream. Such outdated views on the genre are damaging, frequently used by right-leaning creators to justify the bigotry of their own creations. But Final Fantasy is a global hit, and it shouldn't take such a narrow view of the world. Where do I even begin with this trash abomination of a paragraph? First off, let's just talk about, and I think this is the same person, ironically enough, that wrote this like months ago, because I remember seeing it. Final Fantasy 16 is too white. Yeah, but, it's too white because you can't have too many white people, and since everyone is basically white, you just can't do that, and that's too offensive. It's not diverse enough. That's just a problem because everyone playing or interested in a Final Fantasy franchise obviously cares about that. I'm going to be very sarcastic there. Nobody cares about that. Like, anyone who honestly cares two craps about Final Fantasy are not playing this game because of people's skin color. And that's the thing. This writer is just so obsessed with people's skin color. Like, acting like that really matters. And it's like, oh, because they're not aware of their own skin color and what. Basically, the whole thing you're getting with is slavery. And they try to go in depth with it. The whole point of the matter is they're just mad because, that the white people aren't basically acknowledging that they're white and that they're not and they're privileged, and you know how that stuff goes because they're trying to relate it to real life stuff. This is a Final Fantasy game. It's not. It's fiction. It's not real. All right, it can't hurt you. Like, I know you're terrified of white people, which is funny because I can actually think this person is white. So it's like, don't look in the mirror. You might really scare yourself there. But I mean, if you're that terrified of white people, just, I don't know, move somewhere. And then they're making everything always whiter than vanilla ice. Like, and such outdated views on the genre are damaging. What is damaging about it? People, Lord of the Rings and Witcher, their original incarnations are some of the most highly coveted and respected things in, literature. So what are you talking about? I also like how they're basically saying, they try to force their bigotry into their own creations. It's their own creations. Why shouldn't they be allowed to make the story they want to make the game they want to make? Like, who are you to tell them what type of story and game they should make? Like, seriously, just because you didn't get your way, you want to act all throw a tantrum like a small child. Like, you don't have to like it, but stop acting like, oh, you're demanding that they got to change their ways because this is damaging and stuff. But you know what? Practice what you preach. How about I take you over there since you want to take all this, whiteness out of here? Why don't I drop you off over to where they make these games over in Japan, and you can talk to them about it because I'm pretty sure they'll definitely change. I'm being very sarcastic when I say that because the funny part is that you may be able to get away with that stuff over in our country, United States, because we are a multicultural society and stuff like that. But over in Japan, the majority of them is just Japanese, and they're going to be making what the heck they want to make. They're not looking at people's skin color. They care less about that stuff because it's never a factor. Final Fantasy has been predominantly white in its entire incarnation, but it's not. They don't make them white because, they're trying to make some, political. That's just the way it is. They're not thinking about that like people over here do nonstop, day in and day out. They don't care. They're not aware or could give two craps about it. They just want to sell and make a good game. But, of course, next thing they argue about with this whole thing is that the slavery is not the main thing. Yeah, in a Final Fantasy game, slavery is not the main thing, and that's a problem. It should be the main plot. And it's the main thing you're fighting about. It's a part of the game, and it's done really well. As you can see right here, there's a lot of really dark side quests in this game. But it's never going to be the main thing you fight against in this game. It's a part. You can see it's well done. But in Final Fantasy games, what are you typically fighting against? Probably some godlike deity or indestructible, unkillable force of nature, whatever it may be. Final Fantasy 7, you're fighting Sephiroth. Final Fantasy 10, you're fighting Sin. Final Fantasy 1, you're fighting Chaos. But apparently in this game, we got to fight slavery. That you're gonna bore the heck out of the audience there, and they're just gonna be like, what is this? I want to fight mythical creatures and icons and find super bosses or whatever it may be. But it's like they just want everything to be tied into reality, so it just bores the heck out of them so they can preach their ways to you. But enough of that. Let me get to my next article, and round 2. Next one written by the same person. Final Fantasy 16 is afraid of women to be powerful. Oh my god. Where do I even begin with this? Yeah, apparently they think all the female characters are done dirty because they all serve the whims of man. Well, I got news for you as well. Do they serve men? Yes, but you know what? I think men also serve the women too. I think they both kind of help each other out. Stop acting like, oh my god, they're afraid of women and stuff like that. Not to mention, if you look at the history of Final Fantasy, if you had to do a poll right now and they had top 10 characters, most loved and popular characters, at least half, if not the majority of them, would be female characters. You know, number one's going to be Tifa, because everyone goes crazy for Tifa. Everybody's going to be up there. Yuna, who's, by the way, my personal favorite Final Fantasy character, is going to be in there. I mean, you have so many great female characters in Final Fantasy. And they go on a whole piece on, Benedicta, who could have probably been done a little bit better, but it's not because they were afraid of women being powerful. And Jill, what is wrong with Jill? Jill is excellent. People love Jill. Like, what is the problem with that? But, of course, it's never going to be good enough, and they're just going to find some, petty reason to complain and get mad because they personally didn't get their way. I mean, just because you didn't get your personal way of how you think they should have been done doesn't mean that they looked at it like, we're just afraid to let them be powerful. Because by that definition, there's a lot of male characters in here that maybe didn't fully realize and stuff like that. I mean, stop acting like it was only one way or the other. I don't think it's either way. It's just what they want to tell, what they want to do. But then it's just funny how they act like, oh, this is a step backwards. It's like, magically, the one time they didn't do what you want them to do, now all of a sudden it's a problem. I guarantee if it was the other way around, you wouldn't be saying anything. But, and guys, by the way, it's not. It's people just constantly, you can have your problems with characters, but stop acting like, oh my God, the character's done wrong. Oh, it's because of a bigger, issue here with, some, whatever the hell they're trying to make up and BS. But then we get to the next article, and you probably, and just to tie into this next article, you might be thinking, well, what if you just gave them what they want? Would they show up? And the answer is hell no, they're not going to show up. They're just going to push the goalposts further and further. They'll push the goalpost so far that Mr. Fantastic ain't going to be able to reach that. You get to the next article, is hit piece, whatever you want to call, and it just goes that these people are never satisfied. But basically, Final Fantasy 16 Queer's rep is great, but it could have been better. And this is going to be great. So because it is Pride Month, people are celebrating, queer, being queer representative, and which is fine. That's what you like. That's what you like. I don't personally care either way. And yes, there is a queer relationship in the game. And they say it's done well. But guess what? It's not good enough. And that's the thing. It's never going to be good enough, because it's not that you could ever satisfy them. They don't care about you doing that. They just want to see how much more they can force you to do. That's why people always say, hey, just ignore people like this who don't have honest criticism, because they don't personally care about this stuff. They just want to change things and check off boxes and stuff, because, you give them what they want, and it's never good enough. And by the way, this is the same person who completely different game franchise, but the Horizon series, Forbidden West, they were saying how, the game's not a bad game, but it's not great, and the biggest problem is, Aloy, the central character, is not really great of a character because she's too much into her own destiny, and I'm not going to get into that. I like the Horizon games. But the funny part is they were also, negative on that, and Aloy and stuff. But then, when they released the DLC for Horizon Forbidden West, which I have yet to play, and eventually I'm going to get around to it, they basically, found out that, oh my God, Aloy can be gay in a gay relationship, and apparently, oh my God, because of that, the game's great. I like Aloy. I love Horizon. It's a great game now. So you went on saying it wasn't that good, but now just because someone's gay, now it's magically good? This is the type of individual that's writing these articles, people. They're not writing these articles because they care about games. They want games to be good. They're writing them to satisfy their own personal political motives and stuff like that. And trust me, they have a cesspool of garbage you had to filter through, but that's all they care about. They care about their own political identity, politics, whatever you want to call it. If everyone's represented, if you have diversity everywhere, not if it makes anything better. They just want it in there just for the sake of wanting in there. And even if you do give it to them, it's still not going to be good enough, because they're going to find something else to complain about, something else to get mad about, because that's who they are. They don't like Final Fantasy. They just use it as a platform to try to preach to you what they personally want. They're not a journalist for games. They're a journalist activism for whatever flavor of the month they want to roll that direction, because it's just stupid, and it just goes to show you that this is why no one takes gaming journalists seriously. They're a laughing stock, And once again, color me surprised you've heard this. Oh, they're a Final Fantasy fan. They like Final Fantasy. Yeah, no, you're not. You don't care for it at all. You're just using it as a platform to preach your ways and force people to be like, you know, you don't like my ways or you're the problem. Well, I got news for you. Nobody here playing this game, honestly, is complaining about the problems I just went through that you think are problems. You know, give me an actual problem, and then we can talk about it like civil people. But regardless, I just want to play and enjoy the game. I just want to get back to playing this because I'm having a blast with it. But that is going to wrap up my video. Let me know down in the comment section, do you think this person, on their tirade of articles, do you think they have any points in these articles if you dare want to read them? But, you know, I don't blame you if you don't. But let me know down in the comment section down below. But that is going to be it. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video, and hopefully I can see you guys back in the next one. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I hope to see you all later. Peace.